From the glitz and glamour to the adoring fans, plenty of people dream of becoming a famous idol. But unfortunately, due to the oversaturation of idols in the industry, it is becoming increasingly difficult to stand out amongst the crowd. And whether it's Produce 101, Mix 9, The Unit, or any other survival show, we have seen time and time again plenty of people who fail to find success despite being incredibly talented and hardworking. But
it's a overcrowd. Every like entertainment business market nowadays is overcrowded. The human population is massive and everybody grew up with entertainment. It is the time of the need where a lot of people have an ambition to try to entertain. A lot of people don't, but at the end of the day, there's more people that wish to do it. It's oversaturated, yes, but the thing is that not everybody wish to be a pop star, a movie actor, a YouTuber, a Vtuber, a streamer, whatever. Not everybody wants to do that, but there are people that do. There are a lot of people, but at the end of the day, there are so many that can entertain enough. You know what I mean? Like in the end of the day, you have one entertainer entertaining thousands at live sessions. In the end of the day, you can't, when you have a market this broad, there will always be a lot of competition. And the thing is that, thankfully, I think this is the best thing that has happened. Like that change with Twitch, for example, like, which is a live streaming service. It used to be a lot frowned upon to work with or to deal with anyone that is in the same market as you, because everybody streaming is your competitor. Now that has changed. Like everybody tries to work together. Everyone's beefing each other up. But what I'm trying to say is that it used to be frowned upon. At least if they has less viewer than you or following than you, because your community would revolt and often call them as leeches, because they're just trying to leech your content, which is the dumbest thing in my opinion. Because a lot of people that work together are usually friends or just want to hang out. They want to play. They think it's fun. But overall, now it has changed. Now people are a little bit more supportive. People are trying to work together. People are less, to use that word as a leech, because it's stupid. It's dumb. But yet again, this is not the factor in anywhere else in the entertainment business. I don't think it's the factor within YouTube. I don't think it's the factor within, perhaps it's not the factor. Wait, you know, I think it might actually be the factor within YouTube, but I don't think it's the factor within the rest of the entertainment business, because I think it's a broad market that is again oversaturated and people are fighting each other over left and right. So it's hard to get anywhere because there's so many options out there.
What if I told you that there was actually someone who managed to find success through one of these survival shows despite not wanting to be famous and in fact actively trying to lose? Well, that was exactly what happened to Vladislav Ivanov, also known as Lelush or Lelush, on the survival show Chuang 2021. For some context, Chuang, or Chuang for short, is basically the Chinese version of Produce 101, where 101 trainees compete through various challenges and performances, and the top 11 most popular trainees get to debut in a temporary project group. Despite purposely slacking throughout the show and even outright stating that he wanted to be eliminated, Lelush somehow still found himself rising up the ranks every week. Eventually,
I mean, that could be just an act, and then that people could look at as an act because it's different. People look for different people in these kind of things, right? They don't want to see the same. If you see the same pudding, you see 5 brown puddings and 1 red pudding. I mean, often, like in the sense that depending, often there would be less pudding for everyone, a red pudding for everyone. Like in the end of the day, overall, people want to look at something that is a bit different. They don't want to see the same. And this dude looks hot as hell. I mean, he looks fucking great, so he's definitely getting somewhere.
Himself rising up the ranks every week, eventually becoming one of the top contestants on the show. So how did this happen? how did his worst nightmare come true? Before we
The
begin,
worst nightmare. I don't think it's worst nightmare.
Cluebox, who kindly sponsored today's video. Cluebox is a K-pop subscription box.
I feel like nobody would sign themselves off for the worst nightmare.
All of your favorite K-pop groups.
They always will have the idea of perhaps this will happen, perhaps this will turn around, but probably not. When it happens, and I will be shocked. They will keep going with it.
So let's open it up and take a look at what's inside. Every single...
Okay.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna try my best not to butcher this. Vladivostok in Russia. He then moved to Shenyang, a city in China, in 2015 and began learning Mandarin. Thereafter, he remained in China and had several jobs, including a sales agent, a model, a translator,
$500.
and he even worked as a daigou. And I don't really think that there's an English word for this, but a daigou is basically somebody who helps their clients purchase goods from another country. So in Lelush's case, he was helping Chinese people purchase goods from Russia and then charging these clients a commission, which was how he made his money. As you can see, Lelush was doing great. He was employed, he had plenty of opportunities, and he was making good money.
That's impressive.
Never had it crossed his mind to ever enter the cutthroat music industry. He had never sang nor danced, and frankly, being an idol was the furthest thing from his mind. Until one fateful day. So Lelush was actually friends with this guy called Ivan Wang, who was the CEO of a Japanese/Hong Kong-based entertainment company called King Enterprises. Now, King Enterprises wanted to send two of their Japanese trainees, Amu and Yu, to compete on Chuang 2021. However, Ivan, the CEO, was worried that his two Japanese trainees would have trouble adapting to life in China, especially since they couldn't speak Mandarin. Luckily, he remembered that he had a friend, Lelush, who was living in China, so he reached out to Lelush to help take care of the two boys and act as their Mandarin teacher and translator while they were on the show. As if a Russian guy teaching two Japanese dudes Chinese isn't absurd enough, the story goes that a director for Chuang allegedly spotted Lelush and asked him to join the show just 5 days before filming was about to begin. Now, you might be asking yourself why the production team was recruiting contestants just days before the show. I mean, surely they would have had months to prepare beforehand, right? Well, turns out Chuang was actually struggling to find contestants. Many of the international trainees could not make it last minute due to visa issues. And additionally, there were also some local trainees who had suddenly withdrawn from the show. And so, desperate to find contestants, the producers were willing to recruit literally anyone they could find. But even after they had already roped in a bunch of random people to join the show, such as Lelush, an unsuspecting intern, Cao Zuo, who had originally applied to
Man is ready to run the heck away.
And David, a translator,
I mean, this seems fun.
they still had less than 90 contestants. A far cry from...
I don't know why, but it reminded me about the old days whenever people were making video games and they were like, we need voice actors. Let's have Cheryl, the secretary, to make a voice, to do a voice acting job. They're just like grabbing random people. Hey, come in. We need more contestants.
Attended 101 contestants. And so, upon realizing that Lelush, a pretty good-looking guy, could also speak Chinese, they immediately saw an opportunity and rushed to offer him a spot on the show. Initially, Lelush rejected the offer, since he had no intentions of becoming an idol. However, after repeated attempts by the production team, Lelush finally agreed and became the third contestant under King Enterprises. He was, after all, feeling a little bit bored and thought that joining the show could be a cool experience and a great way to get him out of his comfort zone. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Yeah, so it turns out being a contestant on Chuang was a lot harder than Lelush had anticipated. Right from the start, Lelush struggled. I mean, he had never received any training and was predictably placed in the F class during the first evaluation. Initially, Lelouch actually tried to remain positive, and he even mentioned that he wanted to challenge himself and work hard.
我以后会加油的。
However, as time passed, the stress of idol life quickly started getting to Lelouch. Not only did he struggle with singing and dancing, he also lacked energy and constantly felt tired. I mean,
Poor
every game was
dude.
physically exhausting for poor Lelouch, and you could often spot him lying down during practice or struggling to catch his breath while singing or rapping.
把酒基本上顶上都去，红嘴上。
Worse yet, due to his lack of skills and low energy, he was also constantly being criticized by the mentors and teachers on the show.
他跳、唱、表情都没有。
It was clear Lelouch was not cut out to be an idol, and by episode 3, he actually started expressing that he wanted to go home.
新朋友不错，但是也想用手机回家。
The funniest part was that Lelouch was not even trying to hide his hatred of idol life. He was openly complaining on screen about how the show wore him out, how he regretted joining the show, and how he just wanted his freedom back.
Is he like, I assume he's like contracted to be there, else you might have a little bit of a sticky situation to deal with. But overall, man, that must have been miserable. He doesn't want to be there, he hates it, and everybody talks shit about him. Oh god.
At this point, you may be wondering why Lelouch didn't just quit if he hated being on the show that much.
Yeah.
Well, turns out Lelouch had actually signed a contract
Yeah, I
when he
assume
agreed
so.
to join the show, which means that he would most likely have to pay hefty fines if he were to break the contract and leave early. All Lelouch could do was to hope and pray that his rankings would be low enough to finally get him eliminated from the show. And so Lelouch did everything he could to sabotage his own rankings. Whether it was slacking at practice,
好的。
说你得需要多跳几回就懂了，抖一下咣一下的感觉。
pretending to be bad at Chinese,
说的就是你，利路修，装听不见是吧？我发现他跟你说，他想听懂就听懂，想听不懂他就听不懂。
or trying his best to simply be as boring as possible. Lelouch did it all. Yet, much to Lelouch's dismay, he somehow managed to rank an impressive 29th during the first elimination, and these rankings just kept improving every episode.
But did he
Growing
win?
desperate, Lelouch started pleading fans to not vote for him so he could go home, and at one point even begged fans to
Please let me
stop
leave.
没结果。
Unfortunately, all of Lelouch's plans backfired because, unbeknownst to him, his lack of stage presence and reluctant attitude were precisely what made him popular. Firstly, compared to all of the other contestants who worked hard and were eager to win, Lelouch definitely stood out from the crowd and ended up becoming an unintentional comedic relief for not just the viewers but also the other contestants on the show. Everyone found his pessimism and deadpan attitude hilarious, and he became an icon of Sang culture. For some context, Sang culture is basically the Chinese millennial concept of having a defeatist attitude towards life. And I guess you could say it's kind of similar to the idea behind things such as the Doomer meme from America or the Gudetama from Japan. Additionally, many people saw Lelouch as the embodiment of toxic Asian work culture. As you guys may know, many Asian countries, including China, are known for having insane work hours and low pay. There's no such thing as work-life balance here, and many people find themselves burnt out, overworked, and stuck in jobs that they simply don't enjoy. And so many of these people found themselves relating to Lelouch and thought it was refreshing to finally see someone who wasn't afraid to express what everyone else was feeling: exhaustion. He became a meme of sorts, with many calling him the most miserable wage slave. Fans even banded together and joked that they should vote for him and make him do 996.
Oh fuck. They're not letting him leave, dude. That sucks. But as I thought, like, he's so different compared to everybody else. He will stand out. And in these contests, You gotta stand out. Oh no, this is not doing well.
For context, 996 or 996 in Chinese refers to the practice of working from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. Obviously an insane schedule, which is actually common in certain industries such as the IT or tech industries in China. Lastly, despite seeming like a cold and distant person, Lelush actually had a softer side to him.
对于有进店之后的人，我想说，这个排名并不表示我比你们好，因为我知道这里大家都很优秀，所以你们未来一定会加油。
And although he hated every second of the competition, he would still put in just a little bit more effort during group challenges in order to not let his team down.
我还是完成这个舞蹈3天内，这是因为我尊重我的队友们。
All of this made Lelush extremely popular, and in the end, Lelush actually made it all the way to the finals, ironically beating out Amu and Yu, who, if you remember, are the 2 trainees that King Enterprises had actually intended to compete on the show. Throughout the final episode, it was clear that Lelush did not want to be there, and at times, he genuinely looked kind of upset. I mean, things were getting real now. It was no longer a joke. He had barely survived the past 3 months on Chuang, but actually winning the show and being in a boy group for years? That was unimaginable. Finally, it came time to announce the 11 winners. This was the moment that everyone had been waiting for. But whilst all of the finalists were obviously super nervous,
Please don't tell me.
the most nervous one out of them all. He stood rigidly in the corner, hands clasped together as he braced himself for the worst. But one by one, as each winner that wasn't Lelush was
Imagine if he wins and just tells everyone to fuck off.
called, he felt like he was one step closer to freedom. Could there finally be light at the end of the tunnel? After what felt like an eternity to the contestants and frankly the audience as well, I mean, the finale was 4 hours long, all 11 winners were announced, and Lelush was not one of them. He did it! He had successfully lost! It seems fans had ultimately decided to respect Lelush's wishes, and he ended up ranking 17th in the finale, falling just short of the debut team. And so, just like that, Lelush's nightmare was finally
He's
over.
finally free.
As he got his phone back,
What is he
was
doing now,
flooded
though?
with thousands of posts congratulating him for his loss, including one by the Russian embassy. Since the show, Lelush has remained active on social media, and he has
lost,
that
but winners
despite
win
his
still.
terrible time on the show, he doesn't hold a grudge and is still really grateful for the opportunity.
Lost but still
As for
won.
the future, nobody
Nice.
really knows what Lelush's future plans are. But one thing's for sure.
成为男团不是我的梦想。
So that concludes the crazy story of Lelush. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Don't forget to check out my social medias. And if you'd like to see my team and I react to funny clips of Lelush, then be sure to check out my Patreon, which I'll be linking in the description.
This was very good. It's very different from what I usually watch, but heck, this man, oh, I can't imagine hating all of this. I feel like he's antisocial. He's just not into any of this and had to deal with all of this hell for 3 months. I feel bad about him, man. I hope they gave him a little bit of a good check at least in the end. Because goddamn, guy should have done. I wonder what he does now. I bet he could milk that content now out there. Now he's a landmark in social media in China. But I hope he's doing good. Overall, this is tragic. Absolutely tragic. But yeah, it was a good video though. I liked it a lot. Very good. It's 2 years old. Never heard about this. But overall, it was really good. Yeah.